you have said the only way out for a human is to see that he is not this. Seeing will never arrive at a conclusion.
You don't see, okay, seeing will never arrive.
Seeing does never arrive at a conclusion. So seeing will never say that I saw that. No, I saw.
Yeah.
You want to make it even more exact. I am seeing. You want to make it a statement of your nature. I see. You want to make it even more explicit. I am the seeing.
Yeah, actually that is the most beautiful one.
But never say, I see that XYZ. No. If you are saying that you see something, then you are still in the subject-object duality.
Yeah.
As a subject, you are seeing some object.
Yeah.
So, I see. What do I see? Why chat
Yeah,
unnecessarily?
I understand it. That
Why
is
talk so much?
plainly, I see.
I see.
And
I see. Ends there. I see. And if you see something, then you have not seen at all.
you see, if I'm seeing the tree,
You have not seen the tree at all. If you are seeing a woman, you have not seen the woman at all.
I see.
You see only when you just see. To see something is to miss everything.
Yeah. I like that one too. To see something is to miss everything. Do you understand? I see. Period.
Yes, period. Just as you said, I understand, period.
I understand.
I
Period.
understand, period.
I
Full stop.
know.
I know,
Period.
period. Don't say I know
Blah 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 blah.
that.
What was the sentence again? To see.
I see that I am not this. In the same flow, a little ahead, you have said, the more I am in the awareness of I am not this, and then something more. The more I am in the awareness of I am not this, the more realization happens, and the sentence continues. Just as you do not see anything in particular, similarly, you cannot be aware of anything in particular. So, awareness of is already
I understand. It's the same like I see. Period.
aware. I am aware.
Period.
I am awareness, period.
I am aware.
I am aware, period, or I am awareness,
Yeah.
period. But never say, I am aware of this or that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm aware.
I am
Point.
aware, period.
Yeah.
I am awareness itself, period. You remember that story from the Buddha? The robber, Angulimal, stops him in the jungle and asks him, who are you? He says, I am awake. That is the only answer he gives.
I'm awake.
I am awake. I am awake. And very soon, Angulimal, the ferocious robber who would wear a garland of the fingers of the people he had killed, would turn into a monk. I am aware.
So, but if this statement, I am aware, if somebody says that too, isn't he bringing the big ship in between?
Yes, yes, of course. But this is the maximum care we can take when using the social language. You are still using a language that mind has put together.
Which cannot really point
So
exactly to the
it will go
till the mind.
till the mind, it will cover some distance, and then it will just struggle and collapse. Where it struggles and collapses, you must be empathetic to it. You must not charge it with failure at that point. You must just thank it that it brought you at least till that point. That was the legitimate role of language, to bring you
The point of
to
view.
a certain point.
It's like the finger pointed to the moon.
Thing like the finger pointing to the moon. You do not curse the finger that it cannot
No.
touch the moon
Or take you to the
No.
moon.
or take you to the moon. You say thank you, you did so much. Beyond this, it is just the moon. Beyond this, it is not the responsibility of the finger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh. So much beautiful information.
Hands off everything.
Which means total freedom with everything. Only the ascetic is really into it. Only he is into it because he is hands off. Hands off, he is now into it. He has total freedom to indulge.
Sure. Then
But you, to me, are grace. Because so many divine things I learned.
What if you do not say this?
Nay, I mean, why is grace within me then?
I'm asking, what if you do not say this?
Because I get confused when you say that.
Remain with me. You are saying that grace is probably something or somebody outside
Yeah.
of you. I'm asking, who is saying this?
That's me.
And what if you resist, block, just do not see? The grace is that which is sitting on this chair or that within you that understands. The greatest books are in more physical proximity to you than the man on this chair. You see these 4 books here? If I am grace, then they have to be superlative grace. What matters is that you open up. I am that within you that wants freedom because its nature is freedom. And because it is your time now, it is your moment now, so I appear to be sitting on this chair. It is not as if grace has come and is sitting on this chair now. Something within you that must express itself is expressing itself, and you are seeing that here. I am not outside of you. And if you see myself as outside of you, then there is a great separation.
Then you're missing that.
Then you are missing that. I am totally in you. So grace is in your heart. Expressions will always be external. In fact, expression and external are two names of the same thing.
Saying expression and external are.
Because you always see the expression with your senses.
Yeah.
Because you always see the expression in the world.
Yeah.
So it appears outside, external. So when it comes to the expression, you will always feel as if it is outside and hence at a distance. But why do you forget that if expression is there, the one expressing himself is also somewhere? Why don't you figure out where he is? I am an expression. Who is expressing me? Why don't you figure out that one? Is that also outside of you?
Yeah. Clear. What would a rigorous practice then be? As was mentioned in the
Rigorous practice means that let all practices be embedded in the rigorous one. Rigor means depth. Rigorous practice does not refer to any particular practice. It means whatever is the practice, it must be in depth and arise from depth. Now it doesn't matter what you practice. You can practice flying kites.
Let it arise
From depth,
from depth and,
and
be
stay
expressed
and
from
stay in depth, and of course then the expression will be in the world. So do not bother about a particular practice. Rather look at the rigor. Is the rigor there?
And the rigor meaning the depth.
Rigor meaning the depth, rigor meaning the truth, rigor meaning the authenticity.
Yeah.
If the rigor is there, then the practice cannot be wrong. Nothing that arises from rigor can be wrong. It is just like saying that there is no particular way to the truth. All you need to do is walk truly. If you are walking truly,
And talk truly.
yes, if you are walking truly, then all paths are paths of truth. All paths are paths in truth. No path leads to the truth. Walking truly is important.
Let every step, John de Ruiter said that once, let every step be in truth. Let every step
In.
be
That's beautifully said.
Yeah.
In. That's the key
Truth.
word. In truth, not to the truth.
No. Let every step
Be
you take
in the truth.
be in truth.
That's well said. Which means that now you can forget all about steps. Which also means that now you can forget all about the truth and remember only the steps. Please see that these two are the same thing.
Please, can you repeat?
When your concern is to walk truly,
Yeah. Yeah.
it does not matter what kind of walk it is, because the walks can vary.
Yeah.
If they are arising from the truth, then they will be all right, auspicious. Then all that must matter to you is the truth.
Yeah.
The walking is no more significant. On the other hand, it also means that now, because it is arising from the truth, so you can forget about the truth and be concerned only with the walk.
I'm not going to write that one.
What does that mean? That means that the man of God does not bother at all about God. Because he is so sure of God that he does not have to look back over his shoulders, wondering whether God is still supporting him.
He's not bothering about anything.
He's not bothering about God at least. If he has to think, then his thoughts will be about the world. His thoughts will not be about the essential, the I that is God. He will not be wondering about this and that. He can wonder about where do the birds come from. He may try to know how do leaves multiply. Yes, he may think about the shortest route to another continent. These are the things that he may think about. But he will not think about the essential. Because he is already based in the essential. So the essential is out of question.
So what we spiritual people learned about real thinking is just another myth.
It's just another myth and is a cause of so much of suffering.
Absolutely.
The real godly man forgets God.
Yeah.
That's a proof of his godliness.
Yes.
He's so sure of God that he just not now need to put God in thoughts. He has no longer a need to put the ship in the stream.
Yeah.
He has no longer that need. So he can now look at the stream. The body will swim in the stream. The mind may conceptualize the stream and let them do what they want to do. Yes, the stream is there to have fun. Alright?
It is more like a fish in the ocean
Yes.
who's now resting because he knows it's already in the water.
The fish in the ocean has no need to think of the ocean. If it must think, it can think
About where to go,
about where to go,
which shark to deny.
yes, such things it can think about.
but not at least the ocean.
Not at least the ocean.
We are like those fish, we are not convinced of the ocean.
Not convinced of the ocean. So we keep thinking of the ocean.
So the main thing that is need to be thought of, that is missed.
That is missed. Which means you miss out on the world. And when you miss out on the world, then you suffer. And then you say, oh my God, why are you denying the world to me? God is denying the world to you because you are intent on thinking too much about God. So God is saying, okay, you keep thinking of me. You don't need the world then.
Actually, now I say that by thinking you deny God. So that's your conspiracy.
By thinking about God,
Yeah.
you deny
It's
God.
a big
Yes.
difference again. Otherwise, we
Yes.
sit in the stuck in the same thing.
By
So that's-
thinking about God, you deny God to yourself.
So,
And at the same time, we had said that two sentences are one. The other sentence said that he also does not have to bother about the way. What does that mean? The man of truth walks truly and bothers not about
The way.
the way. What does that mean then? That means that once you know fully well, in a deeper than deep sureness, that your ways are arising from the truth, then you are no more doubtful about the ways, nor are you hopeful about the ways. Now you let the ways be, because all ways are always arising from there.
Yeah.
All these ways are always arising from there. So why be so suspicious? Why be so attached to any particular way? Ways can keep changing. What matters is that they are arising from the right place. So, ignore the ways. Now that is double freedom. You can ignore God and you can also ignore that which God is giving.
Expression of God.
Walking truly, you can now be free of both the walk and the truth.
Yes, yes, yes.
Walking in truth, you are now free both of the walking and the truth.
Can you please repeat this slowly, because this is an important one for me.
Walking in truth,
Yeah.
you are free of both the walk and the truth.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Neither do you now have an obligation to be a slave of the universe, nor is now an obligation to be devoted to God. You are free of both the walk and the truth. You are now absolutely free, neither a slave of God nor a slave of the universe. You are now that itself. You are now God Himself,
Not a slave of God.
not a slave of
and
God,
not a slave of the universe.
of
you
the
say,
world.
eh?
Yes.
Of the world.
Yes. And it is no fun getting freedom from universe but becoming a slave of God.
No.
No fun at all. Just as it is no fun declaring God to be dead and becoming a material slave of the material world. Both of these are no fun. You must have freedom from both sides.
Okay.
Only then freedom is total.
So can I ask?
Yes.
Then, for example, when I feel that you can be a slave of God, is what they say, to go 5 times a day to church and say prayers. What doesn't mean anything. You just say them because you want to please the God.
Tell them, why are you asking me to return 5 times from the church?
Yeah.
They are cheating you. They are saying that you must go to the church 5 times a day. Why don't you see that you are returning from the church 5 times a day? Those who tell you to pray 5 times a day,
Yeah, for example, yeah.
they are also telling you to stop praying 5 times a day. Otherwise, how will the next round of prayer start?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
You are not going to the church 5 times a day. You are also returning from the church 5 times a day. Why don't you ask them, why must I return from the church?
But that is being a slave then.
And that is being a slave of all these
These
teachings.
religions and things. Yeah.
Prayer has to be continuous.
Oh, yeah.
The
Prayer.
whole world has to be your church.
And prayer has to be continuous inside.
And when prayer is continuous, then you cannot keep praying in an external way.
Okay.
Which means then that the rituals of praying have no meaning.
You walking is the prayer.
You are the prayer.
Yeah.
Now whatever that happens through you is an act of praying.
Yeah.
You go to the church 5 times a day, you have returned 5 times. You pray 10 times a day, you have stopped praying 10 times. People miss out on the inevitable aspects of duality. To begin something is to also
And
End something.
end it. What begins will end. If prayer begins,
It has to end.
it has to end. Why must your prayer ever end?
Yeah.
Yes? Pray 24 hours a
This
day.
is really off the line.
You say praying 24 hours?
Yes,
Yeah,
pray 24 hours a
in
day.
yourself.
Obviously. You cannot pray 24 hours a day anywhere else. You,
Not like this, Irene, Vader, Moeder, Zoon, Heilige Geest, not Allah, not like that. But
to pray is to be seated in your heart.
Secret, you say?
To be,
Yes.
to be seated, to be
In je
Present.
hart zit, in je hart zijn.
Ja, precies, ja.
is your heart talking?